Watch this person work. Email open, chat pinging, a report half written. They feel productive. But what's actually happening inside their brain right now might surprise you. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Your brain cannot truly multitask. Not really. What feels like doing two things at once is actually something else entirely. Studies show the average worker switches tasks every 3 minutes. That's not focus. That's constant interruption, disguised as productivity. Think of attention like a spotlight. It can only illuminate one thing clearly at a time, no matter how badly you want it to cover more. So when you multitask, your brain isn't splitting that spotlight. It's rapidly flicking it back and forth, faster than you can consciously notice. That flicker has a cost, a real measurable one. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much it's costing you every single day. Multitasking drains an estimated billions of dollars in lost productivity every year. This is the science of why, and what you can actually do about it. Let's separate myth from reality. The myth? Doing two things simultaneously. The reality? Your brain switching rapidly, paying a hidden tax each time. Researchers at the University of Michigan measured this tax directly. Switching between tasks consistently took longer than simply finishing one before starting the next. Picture your brain like a laptop with 50 tabs open. Each one uses memory, even in the background. Eventually, everything slows down. Your working memory is like a small desk. It can hold only a few things clearly at once before papers start sliding onto the floor. Psychologist Sophie Leroy discovered something called attention residue, a ghost of your last task that lingers, quietly pulling focus from the one in front of you. That's why replying to one Slack message mid-report doesn't just cost you seconds. Part of your mind stays tangled in that chat long after you've moved on. Picture a typical office morning, a deep focus block interrupted by an email, a call, another message, each one leaving its own small residue behind. The average person checks their phone around 96 times a day. Nearly every 4 minutes, something is asking for your spotlight. Your phone is engineered like a slot machine. Every notification is a small, unpredictable reward, and your dopamine system can't help but pull the lever. A century ago, Henry Ford discovered something powerful. Workers assigned one repetitive task, done in sequence, dramatically increased factory output. Long before smartphones, scholars and monks built entire traditions around single-pointed focus. One candle, one book, one task, fully absorbed. Fast forward to Stanford, where researcher Clifford Nass set out to test something surprising. Are heavy multitaskers actually better at handling multiple streams of information? The answer stunned researchers. Heavy multitaskers were actually worse at filtering out irrelevant distractions than people who rarely multitasked at all. Picture a chef juggling 3 sizzling pans at once, trying to perfect every dish simultaneously instead of one at a time. Something always burns. The more you switch, the more quality slips through the cracks, and the switch cost quietly compounds with every jump. Across multiple studies, task switching has been shown to cut productivity by as much as 40%. That's nearly half your effective workday, gone. Here's the key twist. Multitasking often feels satisfying in the moment. Busy feels like progress, even when very little actually gets finished. Interruptions don't just cost time, they trigger a real stress response, releasing cortisol and putting your nervous system on constant low-grade alert. Chronic interruptions raise your baseline stress over time, not just in the moment. Day after day, that tension quietly accumulates. Open-plan offices, designed for collaboration, often backfire, placing people closer together while multiplying the number of interruptions each person faces. Research comparing office layouts consistently shows higher interruption rates in open spaces compared to private, quieter work environments. Now add messaging apps into the mix. An always-on culture where responding instantly feels expected, even when it fractures deep concentration. But here's an important nuance. Not every combined activity is harmful. The difference lies in which parts of the brain each task actually uses. Walking while listening to a podcast works fine. One task is automatic, the other uses a different mental channel entirely. Texting while driving does not work the same way. Both tasks compete for the exact same visual and cognitive channel, with dangerous consequences. As switching frequency increases, so does the error rate. More jumps between tasks consistently means more mistakes slipping through unnoticed. Some studies have compared the cognitive cost of heavy multitasking to a temporary drop of around 10 IQ points, a startling, if debated, comparison. Even in a boardroom, a lingering thought from an earlier meeting can quietly shape a decision. Attention residue doesn't disappear just because the stakes are high. Add it all up: lost time, lower quality work, elevated stress, and weakened memory. That's the real cumulative price of constant task switching. But here's the hopeful part. Attention isn't fixed. It's a trainable skill, and small structural changes can dramatically shift how well yours performs. The first shift is simple: monotasking. One task, fully open, everything else closed, until it's genuinely finished. Time blocking your calendar into clear, dedicated chunks removes the constant decision of what to do next and protects each task from bleeding into another. The Pomodoro technique breaks work into focused sprints, 25 minutes of full attention followed by a short, deliberate break. Batching notifications into 2 or 3 set windows a day lets urgent things through without letting every ping hijack your attention constantly. Author Cal Newport calls this deep work, the ability to focus without distraction on cognitively demanding tasks. It's becoming a rare and valuable skill. Deep, uninterrupted work consistently produces more meaningful results than the same hours spent constantly switching between tasks. Some companies adopting focus-friendly policies, quiet hours, fewer meetings, batched communication, have reported measurable gains in overall output. Attention is quickly becoming one of the most valuable resources we have, quietly slipping away, grain by grain, if we don't protect it. As AI increasingly handles shallow, repetitive tasks, the ability to focus deeply on complex problems may become the defining human advantage. Remember that worker from the opening scene? Same desk, same job, but now one task open at a time. Calm, focused, and finally getting somewhere. Multitasking isn't a superpower. It's a myth we've been sold. Protect your attention and subscribe for more science-backed ways to think clearer and work smarter.